Call the Westfield Board of Public Works and Safety meeting to order for September 25th, 2019. Staff, please note the presence of quorum.
We do have a quorum.
Thank you. Action item number 1, our consideration and approval of the minutes from August 28, 2019, as well as the minutes from September 6, 2019. Having an opportunity to review those minutes, are there any additions, corrections, or discussion?
I do not.
Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
So move to accept minutes of August 28 and September 6 of 19.
I will second that motion. I have a motion made and seconded to approve action item number 1. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. On to action item number 2, dedication of public right-of-way town road.
So, out on town, and this is the Little Eagle Road, there is a development here called Westgate, which was approved a long time ago, 2006 I believe. The document is a dedication of right-of-way from the school to the city, which is this sliver of ground. So the school owns this piece, and subsequently somehow the little sliver on the other side of the road. Because town will realign someday and then extend up through roughly this right-of-way to 32, they have to start their correction or curve correction back in here. And that, coupled with the fact that the school doesn't want to own this little piece of land once the road is moved over. So they are dedicating or proposing.
They are dedicating it to us.
Correct. That
piece.
Parcel right there.
Okay.
And it'll be public right of way, and then they will be given access off of the new road.
Okay.
Once a time.
Yeah, I don't remember hearing about this. I know there's some other things. The alignment is part of it, drainage is part of it, but it's kind of essential that happens for the project to proceed at some point.
Yes.
Right.
That's exactly right.
All right, I will move to accept the dedication of the town road from the schools.
I will second that. I have a motion made and seconded to approve action item number 2, dedication of public right-of-way town road. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. On to action item number 3, 151st Street and Town Road Roundabout, City of Westfield and NDOT local public agency contract.
Sure. So this is for the 151st Street and Town Roundabout, which we received federal funding for. This is essentially just a contract between us and NDOT that allows us to use those federal funds for the project. This contract is in particular for the right-of-way portion of the design. So it's for $100,000 total, $80,000 of which will be the federal funding that we're going to be using to acquire the right-of-way for this project.
Can you show it to me?
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is just right-of-way purchase?
This is just the right-of-way portion. So we've already had the same contract for the engineering. This is for the right-of-way, and then we'll have another one for construction.
It's just the standard NDOT LPA contract.
Correct.
Okay.
And this is
one
the rule
picture. 150.
Yeah, right here.
right here. So you have, this is Westchester, I believe.
Right.
And you've got a gas line right there?
We do, yeah.
Yeah.
So we got NDOT rule funding to fund the roundabout.
Oh,
here.
it's outside the MPO.
It's just outside the MPO.
Yeah.
And what's your schedule?
Fiscal year?
2020.
I think it's fiscal
2020.
year 24, right?
I think it's 2023.
Okay.
So we'll have a letting in July 2022.
Still a ways
Construction
out.
later that year.
Who's doing the design?
RQAW.
This is consistent with other agreements between City of Westfield
This is
and
the
NDOT.
same agreement that we
So
signed
the
for any
80/20 covers
funded project.
what?
Right.
80/20 covers right-of-way and construction and PE.
And PE.
We're getting 80/20 for everything.
every- entire
Every
project.
aspect,
Normally we pay for right of way and
Yeah.
design ourselves.
Because this is the LPA thing, it's
Because
different?
it's the rural funding,
Rural
it's a different.
Let's do more rural funding.
Well, we don't have very many more rural areas in our city, unfortunately. I'd love to go for it, but
Yeah,
the
Okay.
MPO line kind of swallows up most of Westfield.
so you already have some right of way adequate?
Yep.
On those two corners?
These two are good. This one will be good once
Apologize
they,
for not turning that off.
plat the second section.
All right. I will move to enter into the NDOT LPA contract.
I will second that. I have a motion made and seconded to approve action item number 3, 151st Street and Town Road Roundabout right-of-way, City of Westfield and NDOT. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. On to action item number 4, Westgate Park Impact Fee Credit Agreement.
So Westgate, the development we were just talking about with the right-of-way dedication from the school, also has a significant section of the Midland Trail that runs or will run through their development. Because it is on our trail master plan and it is a public amenity, it is creditable. This agreement, and I'll show you on the map where it goes, this agreement is to committing us to giving them park impact fee credits for the cost of construction of the trail.
Are they building it?
They are building it. They're designing and building it. It'll run roughly through here, and essentially at some point in time we'll cross Little Eagle and continue on out.
So where is the old right-of-way?
The old corridor is right here.
So we don't stick on it?
We don't, not through here.
Oh, I didn't know that.
2 reasons. Number 1, we are applying for Next Level Trails money to divert down to the school. So we met with the school last week to have an easement dedicated for the trail through there, not knowing what these developments are going to be, and wanting to connect the school to the trail. We're going to divert down through here. It will some way meander through this property and then come up through here along the roadway, cross,
Where
and
I don't see your
so
oh, all right.
right here, and it'll tie in here, come through, and it'll be a nice community amendment or amenity, and it'll be through a green space section of
All right.
the
I
development.
didn't know we were diverting off the right-of-way. Old right-of-way. So where does it join back up?
We gotta cross the Little Eagle Creek
Yeah.
Yep.
at some point, and so it makes sense to do that when we construct a town road bridge over Little Eagle Creek. We'll make it wide enough such that that Midland Trace Trail can be carried across that bridge as well.
And then it goes back up,
Goes back
And
up.
and then that
Here.
strip of woods, I
Yep.
imagine, is the old.
That's exactly.
Yeah.
Correct. Yes. So it gets back up here. Here's the alignment, and then it goes on through here, which this is the tank farm, and Shelby Materials is just north of that, or will be soon. And then
Gosh, so
cross-
how does it join up on the east?
It already exists at this development here, so it's
Okay.
constructed up to here. We will hopefully, with Next Level Trails money, get it to Ditch Road, and then it'll come down through.
There's already a trail on the east side of ditch in front of the school that potentially could be used as part of Midland, because we gotta get to the south property line to tie into Westgate. But
All right. Gee, just keep going west, don't we?
Yeah, so not related to this action item, but if we get Next Level money, we will be connected from Ditch to 31 or the Mona.
Have you applied for that?
It's coming up. The call is open right now. We applied last year unsuccessfully. This year I think we'll hopefully be more successful. Either way, it's still the plan,
All
even
right.
if we locally fund it.
I would move to enter into the park impact fee agreement with Westgate Park.
I'll second that. A motion made, seconded to approve action item number 4, Westgate Park Impact Fee Credit Agreement. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to action item number 5, 169th Spring Mill Roundabout, City of Westfield NDOT Local Public Agency Contract.
same NDOT LPA contract that we just talked about for 151st in Town, except this one's for 169th and Spring Mill. This one actually is slated for late 2021 letting, based on the fiscal year. But yeah, standard NDOT LPA contract. We have an 80-20 match for construction dollars on the project,
Just construction?
just construction.
Is this MPO?
This is MPO.
Okay.
This is what we were awarded at the same time as 161st and Oak. We got both these roundabouts on that same call.
Oh, yeah.
We had an awarding ceremony like in May of 2018, if you recall, over at the
So
church.
it would bid when? That's what makes clear to me.
July of 21.
Okay,
So
all right. That'd be a good one to get.
Moved up.
we're going to try and accelerate
Okay.
it. We've got actually currently we have a PFC kind of level of claim set already, and they're looking pretty good. So I think we'll be able to accelerate. At least from a design standpoint, we'll have the plans ready. Whether there's money available with the MPO, we'll certainly try and get
You
some.
know how to play that game. Be nice to have, if they're not, roundabout ahead coming signs out there, because that's a lot.
There
of-
are.
Are there?
Yep.
Good. That's
It's a dangerous intersection.
a hot one.
Yep.
I would move to accept LPA contract for 169th and Spring Mill.
I will second that.
And how many roundabouts does that make, first of all?
Once it's constructed, that'll put us in the neighborhood of 31 when that one's done. We'll be building two basically at the same time.
31, so I'm just trying to think. One of these days, I want to be able to say to Brainerd that we have more per capita than he does. Tell me when we get there.
Okay, we will.
I would think
Yeah.
we're getting
We're getting close,
All
yeah.
right, okay.
There.
I think it was, sorry. I think it
We need to try and do it before the next census because our population is going to go up quite a
was
bit.
moved and seconded, yeah.
All right. We have a motion made and seconded to approve action item number 5, 169th Spring Mill Roundabout, City of Westfield, NDOT local public agency contract. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. On to action item number 6, Spring Mill Station Southwest Corner Road Impact Fee Credit Agreement.
Yep, so this development is at the southwest corner of 161st and Spring Mill.
You mean something's really gonna happen there?
We certainly think so. So this development includes a whole bunch of things actually. Pull up there. We've got some medical offices, retail, apartment complexes, all planned at the southwest corner. What this agreement states is that some of the improvements to 161st Street and Spring Mill Road, along with Spring Mill Depot Drive, which is kind of the connecting roadway through the development, as well as an east-west connection road, are going to be road impact fee creditable. It's a pretty standard format for a road impact fee credit agreement that we've used in the past. It includes the dedication of right-of-way that we are requiring. It includes a corner cut for a roundabout at 161st and Spring Mill, so it provides for that roundabout right-of-way on the southwest corner, as well as the road infrastructure improvements for the development.
So
So about 1.6 million in road impact fee credits.
And to orient you, Spring Mill is going left to right on the north, and this is 161st Street. So we are crediting the improvements associated with 161, Spring Mill, and then this
You
spine
scroll to the
road.
very last
So
page. it's colored.
those dollars amount match up?
Yeah, we actually had some back and forth, reviewed their estimates. Michael and I had looked through their estimates, and there were a couple things we removed just to make it in line with what we've credited in the past, and we feel comfortable with the estimate that is provided.
And how are we going to afford the roundabout?
It is our hope that the roundabout will be funded with TIF dollars. The tentative plan is with the same bonding mechanism that pays for the tunnel at 161st and the MoNON. That's our plan right now. We don't have a definitive plan, but that is what we're working
Okay.
toward.
All right. And we'll talk about that during your report.
Of course.
I will move to accept the road impact fee fee credit agreement with Spring Mill Station.
I'll second that. A motion made, seconded to approve action item number 6, Spring Mill Station Southwest Corner Road Impact Fee Credit Agreement. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Action item number 7, GAI on-call task order number 2.
We already have a master agreement with GAI. They're a consulting firm in Indianapolis. And actually they have a Hamilton County office as well. We originally hired them. We have a master agreement for $5,000, not to exceed. They worked on the town road realignment for us earlier. That was task order number 1. This is task order number 2. It was to look at a roundabout layout at 193rd and Casey Road as it pertained to the Atwater PUD that came through City Council, which is at the corner of, on the north side of 193rd and Casey Road. So just on the north side of 193rd, there's a residential development that's coming through. And right off the bat, we identified that that T intersection at some point is going to be a roundabout, not in the near future necessarily, but at some point. So we needed to identify what kind of a right-of-way dedication we needed to require the Atwater developer to provide us in advance of a roundabout. So we actually brought in GAI as part of their master agreement for about $2,000. We paid them to do a roundabout layout and give us exact coordinates for the right-of-way dedication that would be required there, so that we could relay that to the developer. So, long story short, this is task order number 2 and a master agreement that's already been approved.
Have they done it?
They've already done
They've
it.
done the work,
Yeah.
Very good. I will move to accept GAI's task force order 2.
I will second that. The motion's been made and seconded to approve action item number 7, GAI on-call task order number 2. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. On to action item number 8, Birdie's Path Joint Use Maintenance Agreement.
So for these paths that go along State Road 32, inevitably we have to tie into the existing ADA ramp on the corners, which are in INDOT's right-of-way. So basically for each development that comes through, we've had to sign a joint use maintenance agreement, which essentially states that if INDOT ever widens 32 and has to tear into that path, that they're not going to be responsible for replacing it, and we have to take ownership of that path.
They have a whole
maintain it.
department that works on that.
They do. Well, they have a legal department, at least, that writes up these joint use maintenance agreements. So we've signed previous ones for the trails, and I believe for this Oak Ridge, shops at Oak Ridge,
Now
same
you want us
situation.
to sign it.
And we have to sign it just saying that we're going to maintain those trails. They're not INDOT's responsibility.
So this is an agreement with INDOT.
Yep, directly with INDOT.
I hesitantly move to accept joint use maintenance agreement.
All right, I will second that motion. We have a motion made and seconded to approve action item number 8, Birdie's Path Joint Use Maintenance Agreement. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. I can get my page to turn. On to action item number 9, approval of ground lease with Westfield Economic Development Foundation for the Westfield Playhouse.
Effectively, this is exactly what you said. It's a ground lease for this parcel, which is where we own. We are going to lease the ground so that the Westfield Playhouse group can build a playhouse here.
With a groundbreaking
October 22nd.
October 22nd.
Less than a month. Okay. Any discussions there?
It's been thoroughly reviewed by our legal department, discussed at council. Will move to approve this ground lease.
All right, I will second that. Motion's been made and seconded to approve action item number 9, approval of ground lease of Westfield Economic Development Foundation for the Westfield Playhouse. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. I entertain a motion on the consent agenda.
So moved.
I will second that. Motion made and seconded to approve the consent agenda as written. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. On to department reports. First, Chief Reed.
Go ahead.
You may open it up.
You got that to me just a minute.
Did I? Thanks. From a statistic standpoint, there's really nothing of significance. We'll kind of cruise through those. And I was going to talk just a little bit about our MIHCPU program and how it interacts with the well-being piece, and kind of talk a little bit about some of the things that we're doing in that program. So, this is for August, total incidents for 2019, which is this just breaks down how it breaks down in terms of incident count. So as we say, we basically break it down roughly 70-30 medical to fire. A little bit of property saved piece. So that's to date in 2019. Fire loss was about 60,000, but we have a much better saved piece there. So
You saved Charleston's.
we did.
I didn't know.
And then when I was out of the country, I heard it caught on fire.
Yeah.
Is it open? Or-
Yeah,
Yeah.
they were
Yeah.
closed Monday and Tuesday, I think, or Sunday, Monday maybe.
Yeah,
man.
but they did a good job on it. Just a little bit of comparison.
I'll go
There's a little bit about in terms of
Who's the
comparison.
engineer?
Total overall incidents. Those are each one of the fire stations and what they're running. Blue is last year, and yellow is this year. Or I guess that would be gold.
Okay.
Same thing with Grand Park.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Very good. Blue is,
Blue's last year.
okay.
That's
So
this
we,
year.
6 whole incidents so far this year.
Yeah, you know, that's
I
always
would-
been the misnomer. All these people, and it's going to
Yeah,
tax our
that is-
system, and we aren't ready for it. So.
That is incredible.
There's no, there's literally no data to support that argument. Then this just breaks down all of our stuff in terms of false alarm, service calls, hazmat.
We're still working on that, right?
What's that? Yes.
False alarms.
Yeah. My hope is to have all that to you. The hang up on that is that we have 2 different CAD systems, 2 different databases that we're having to pull all that information from. It just takes time.
Yep. Understood.
So if you think about it, we were in a different CAD system, changed that over late 16, 17, and now we're in the New World CAD, so got to go back into both of those. To pull all that stuff out, it just takes time. Our care facility calls, we watch these again pretty closely.
Yeah.
And again, that's different for the month of August. We'll give you a year-end piece that'll show you the direct comparison between 18 and 19 total calls.
Yeah, I'd like to look at that
Yep.
year end.
So, our community paramedicine program, initially it started as a program in which we were going to, and we still do a bit of that, but not nearly as much as what we had
We've done
initially
much with
thought
this.
about doing or had contemplated when we put it together. So it was somewhat of a revenue generator in the sense that, for people who are just what's the word I'm looking for? Who are let go or are released from the hospital after they've been there for a surgery or what have you. Medicare rules basically say now that they have to, if you were released for, let's say you went in for some type of a cardiac issue, if you re-enter the hospital within that 90-day window, Medicare will no longer pay for that, right? So you have to be out of the system for 90 days before you can actually come back in. So, so hospitals would utilize our paramedic program to go out and do some visits, make sure that people were doing okay, if they had some kind of a surgery, their wounds were healing, they had their prescriptions, blah, blah, blah. We're able to get to the doctor, all those kinds of things that generally would get people back into the hospital. So we continue to do that, it's just not at a number that we would have liked, I guess I would say. But what we've done as well, though, is as we've talked about the pressure that care facilities put on our resources. And the downside, there's two components to that, right? One is, most of them are nonprofits and they don't pay taxes. They don't contribute. So they're chewing up a significant amount of our resource, yet pay nothing into the system.
Yes. Very
So-
concerned about that.
Yeah, so what we're doing is, we put the three main objectives that we want, both with care homes and then with our elderly population as we get older. We want to decrease the number of 911 calls and create outlets and provide information to people in terms of help that they need to be able to stay independent at home. So our people go out and do those visits. We have an internal referral system, so when our guys go out, an engine might go out, and it might be on a separate call. It could be on a public assist call to change a smoke detector, as an example. And they get there and they recognize that people don't have food, the place is a mess, that kind of stuff. We will make contact with, we try to make contact with family members, or we contact Aspire, and they will then get in touch with these people and help them get the resource they need to be able to stay independent at home. That's the criteria for the referral stuff is kind of like, these are the major ones. So we'll go out on people who fall often, right, and have to put them back into bed on a regular basis, those kinds of things. And so we provide these services. We are, in fact, a safety net for our community. So that's really what we're doing. What we've experienced in that is by going out and doing these things has reduced. Currently, I'm not talking about care homes, but I'm talking about the elderly at home. We have reduced the amount of times they're recalling us 911 for some of those things because we've gone out, we've taken care of the fall things that, rugs that people can trip on. We've kind of walked through all that. And we've just given them the ability to get a resource and get help out there if they need it. We've built ramps for people if they've needed them, those kinds of things.
So do you have a statistic that shows how you have cut down on the?
Right. Well, we have right here. These are the total number of home visits that we've made. You got to remember they have to say that they're okay with us coming out.
Mm-hmm.
We can't just impose on them, but most of them do. And so, out of the 36 total referrals, the number of patients that have called 911 after one visit is 7. So
Do you have anything to compare that
that's a
with?
significant reduction in terms of, well, we're just beginning to build those data.
But
Right.
you say it's a reduction from what?
Well, it's a reduction in terms of, this is the number of referrals and the QRT visits 7. What we're saying is that what we know is that these are people who have habitually called, right?
Okay.
So the number would have been 36 instead of
At
7.
least, at least, if not
and-
more.
And then thinking that you've only had
That's a big
7
deal.
patients call, and of those 36, I mean, it could have been 90 because they may have
They could have called 3 times.
3-4 times.
Exactly.
Per because
It's
they.
hard to develop that stat, right? All we can do is kind of take a,
Oh, that's impressive.
take a screenshot.
Yeah.
We know that it's working, right? We just intuitively know just based on our numbers.
Surrounding communities have this program, or are we unique in Hamilton County, or do you know that?
Well, I know Noblesville has nothing. All the outlying northern places have nothing.
Okay.
I don't know that Fishers has probably been more focused on a mental health, well-being
Right.
kind of component. I don't know whether they actually do home visits or not, to be honest with you. And Carmel does some of that. But I
So
don't-
essentially Westfield is the tip of the spear on this type of,
Well, I think we're going to be way
community
ahead of it.
service.
Yeah, I can tell you this piece right here, no one is doing. So again, talking about our nursing home visits, right? We've already kind of talked about what that issue is. This is just a sample of kind of how we're beginning to break down and look at the numbers, right? So what we want to know is, one is, what are we going out on, right? What are they calling us for? So this is the breakdown of what, I don't know which one this is, but we're breaking them down into calendar years. All of our facilities, and we're going to look at those numbers, kind of take a look at these pieces over here. So as you can see, the big numbers that jump out to me, obviously breathing, falls, sick person, which really are more about transfers to hospitals for follow-up procedures from doctors.
But Chief, don't falls, I mean, aren't they largely preventable?
Well, that's what, so first of all, we gotta figure out what our stuff is now, and it's gonna be different for each facility.
Depends on what type of facility it is, I
Right.
understand that, but I know,
But we want to get to the root cause of what the fall is. Now,
'cause that is a
generally,
real black mark on their
Yeah.
records, a fall.
generally, it comes from not having, I would say it just comes from not having enough people. If someone generally needs assistance to get from the bed to the bathroom, but there's only one person and they're busy somewhere else in this facility doing something else, and I gotta go to the bathroom, I'm gonna get up and try to go to the bathroom. And so those are the kinds of things that we're really kind of up against. The whole point of it is, right, we're gonna take a look at those, and here's some breathing problems. What I wanna say about this is, these are also, what these people know is, if I say that it's a breathing problem, if I say it's just kind of a general whatever, then the 911 system is going to begin to ask more questions, right? Does this really need to be a 911 call? But if I hit those hot buttons of heart, breathing, unconscious, those kinds of things, then we're on. Then 911 gets called. So they know how they understand how to work the system. So our plan here is to take a look at these. And what we want to do is go out and find out just exactly what's going on, and then begin to try to train people and make sure that they. So, as an example, fall injuries.
Train who?
Train the people who are out there. So one of our problems
In the nursing homes.
In the nursing homes. The problem is that tremendous amount of turnover in these facilities. Right? The pay isn't that great. It's hard work. And so what we want to do is help them with that. As an example, fall people, not all of these places have, there are these machines that help basically people lift people and get them up off the floor. And insurance companies will actually buy these things for them because they don't want back injuries, right? So there are all kinds of solutions to all of this, but we just have to go out and begin to educate ourselves. One, look at our data and say, okay, what are we really going out there on? And then figuring that out, and then sitting down with staff and beginning to train them and to help them understand. You got to remember, everybody's emergency is different, and what we think really you ought to be calling 911 for probably doesn't match up with what the general lay people think. Like I say, everyone's emergency is different. So, and then we have the mental health component. This is all tied into our well-being component, right? And so we're going to start talking about mental health in a much larger fashion. Mental health people in October, first part of October, people are going to get some baseline training in mental health. What I can tell you is this is stuff where our people haven't been, this has not been an area where anywhere at any level, people have gotten a lot of training. There's been a lot of stigma with any kind of a mental health, psychological problem, right? So there are a lot of times where our people will really essentially treat what they think is the problem, but it actually can end up being a mental health issue. So,
We're going to work on that, aren't we?
yep. So we're working on that, being able to identify those things and put that together as a part of the overall city's play a significant role in the city's well-being piece.
Thank you.
Yep. That's all I got.
That's fantastic.
And education down to that being a key component of success of the program.
Yeah, I mean, we just have to get in there and kind of figure out what's going on, because outside of that, they're just going to keep calling.
Right. Good job.
Great.
Anything else, sir?
No.
Thank you.
Glad to see the well-being progress,
Yeah.
Miss Vicki.
Chief Jordan?
I'll just do a brief overview. I'm not going to go through the report. There's no real spikes or outliers in past months, but I will just cover a few topics about the agency just to bring everyone up to speed on what we've been up to. I'll cover a couple of community outreach projects that we had last month. Days B initiated what they coined Operation Hydration on the Monon Trail at 161st Street crossing, where they took it upon themselves to buy bottled water coolers and handed out water, but also talked about trail safety and right-of-way and who has the right-of-way. That was a real successful event. Another event, Tipic Hop, that was held down at the new Texas Roadhouse restaurant, was initiated by one of our newest officers, Jeremy Thomas. He was a lateral hire that you approved, and they raised over $2,000 for the Special Olympics in one evening, and their entire squad participated on their day off. Of training note, close to 20 officers attended the FBI National Academy retrainer that featured Mark Geist, also known as Oz Geist. He was an operator and security consultant in Benghazi, the attack in Benghazi, Libya. The movie 13 Hours was made about that. Personnel, we just had our third retirement of the year. Kim Daniels had a ceremony at the school. She's an SRO. She's retiring after, I believe, 35 years of service in law enforcement. And prior to that, Bob Mitchell retired and Mike Allen. On October 28th of this year, we plan to hire our last two officers of the year. One is Winyu Sharif, and he is from IU, has the academy. The other is Derek Baldridge. He's from Elkhart City Police Department. He also has the academy. And that'll round out all of our hires for this year, which we've had 8, with a net increase of 5. So we'll be at 55 sworn at the end of this year. Internally, we've also posted for a replacement for Kim's position. She was an SRO at the high school, along with Anwar Velasquez. So we're trying to get that filled with an experienced officer as well. Hopefully we'll do that before the end of the year. And then we hope to add a 5th SRO in 2020 to float between all the elementary schools. Currently have 2 officers in field training, new officers. Ethan Weingett, who's a transfer out of the state of Georgia, and Nick Bonds, who was a Boone County Sheriff's deputy that we hired. We have 1 new officer in the academy going through training, and he'll be there till about Christmas. And this Saturday, we initiate our new hiring process for 2020 hires. That'll be at the high school. That's our first main step of our hiring process, which will take several months to complete. And we still use an outside firm to help us administer that test. Outside of that, we're just staying busy and we can entertain any questions that you guys have.
Got to see the new EOD dog in action this week. That was interesting. I'd never seen one of those canines work before. And the method in which they, sweep the inside and outside of the building, and that was very interesting.
You had a pretty big event up there, didn't you?
Yeah, we had a real big event. So that was just kind of a extra thing that to help train the dog, and we're planning on doing some other training because of the pyro that we use in manufacturing. It would be, I talked to Song, and he's going to set it up to help better train the canine and the handler. So, and in turn, they know our building better. So in case we ever have an issue, other than that, they'd be better prepared to respond. So it's kind of exciting to be able to participate in that training.
Absolutely, it's been a good addition to our team. And for those of you that don't know, Anwar Velasquez is an SRO, school resource officer at the high school, and he does have an EOD dog, or explosive ordnance detection dog. A lot of the kids there think it's a drug dog, but it actually can key on explosives, ammunition, handguns, rifles, things like that. The Colts purchased that for the city of Westfield. And so in the summertime, when school's not in session, Anwar is assigned out to Colts camp and also carries on those roles out there as well.
It's a good way to get in front of nonsense by detection, just like everything else. So
it's a good tool to have.
Yeah. Anything, sir?
Good. Thank
right.
you, Scott.
Thank you. Director Lawler?
Yeah, so we have a great number of things going on, as we always do. Main thing that is, I guess, most impactful to the community is our resurfacing program. It is underway, and hopefully we'll be wrapping up here in the coming weeks. We still do have a significant amount of work left, but now that they're engaged, it's going smoothly. So,
Are you doing Greyhound Pass? East of 31?
East of 31,
Yes.
yes.
Okay, I thought
Yes.
so. It's
Yes.
bad and it's unpainted, so I assume that's why it's going.
Yes,
Pavement
Mr.
markings are coming through after the
Yeah.
resurface.
So Mr. Shu is well in the depths of all of that and the work that comes along with it. On the engineering staffing front, we lost one of our longtime employees. He has moved on to the private world and will be working for a private developer developing subdivisions in Westfield and in the neighboring communities. He will likely, he has been replaced by an internal member, which will then has started the chain reaction of internal promotion, and so we will be adding a laborer most likely to backfill. So it's a great opportunity for everyone. Growth and development in there internally is always a positive. As far as other projects, so the Monon Bridge was set. They are continuing to work on it. They are currently working toward pouring the bridge deck. We have a little delay in our lead time of our handrail, so we are still hopeful to wrap that up by the end of the year. Town Road is back underway after fighting with some utility conflicts. So that's been an unexpected delay, but we have navigated through that and are still hopeful to get that done by the end of the year. We got our bids back for the Westfield Boulevard extension or connector. Which one is that? Connector, which is extending from the roundabout down to 169th Street.
How were your bids?
They were
Bids.
very good.
Bids were very good.
Good?
Came in under budget. So
Our winning bid was 4.8 million. Engineer's estimate was 5.6, so it was about 800,000 under.
Wow.
We had 9 bidders, and there were several low bidders right around that 4.8 number. They're at 4.9, but a tight grouping of some of those bids, which gives you some comfort to the low bid as well.
Great.
So that contract, you guys approved signing authority last month, I believe. So that contract will be signed here very likely tomorrow.
Begin this year.
Yes, sir.
Very good.
Connected as well and related is the sanitary sewer extension. Citizens is building a regional lift station south of Grand Junction Plaza and kind of adjacent to our regional detention. They have in the last week or so cleared the Midland corridor from the park all the way through Poplar Street. This is for the sanitary sewer that will serve the Grand Millennium Center development. So they will install that sewer and run it south along the road to provide that capacity. We will then come by and pave that trail behind the restaurants. So,
So, Jeremy,
yeah,
the new road, will it have pathways on both sides?
it will.
And then when you get down to 169, will we be able to go over to the Monon?
We will. We still have an obstacle that is the acquisition of the parcel here. If you recall, we had to condemn for the Monon a number of years ago, so we've got to make sure that that 5-year time frame is up. You can only condemn a parcel once every 5 years. We will obviously take the appropriate channels and try to buy it.
Yeah, I mean, you
But-
don't know if you'll have to condemn it yet. But
Correct.
is your plan to try to do that
Yes.
when that's north-south built?
Yes,
Okay.
that is
I
the
get a lot of
intention.
inquiries on that.
Yeah, so we should have the connection there. It'll also, a number of years ago, I think it was 15, we acquired the right of way along here to connect to the Natalie Wheeler Trail
did?
as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, go back up a little bit, the trail, I forget the name, that goes behind the apartments.
Grassy Branch Creek Trail.
And where does it connect to all this?
It connects right here, and that is under construction currently. So as a part of the lift station project, we negotiated.
It's going, Really?
Yep. So they had to construct an access drive
Yeah.
back to their lift station.
all right.
In exchange for the easements that go down the Midland corridor.
And it's gonna go on the south side of the wetlands?
Yes, it's already cut in.
It is?
Yeah.
You didn't tell me that.
I did. I did. So they are in the process of patching all these.
Yeah.
They will also construct this connection here, so we'll have the
Promise?
actual Midland connection there. And then they will pave this back through here. So the apartment complex will be connected, and then we will connect this also. at some point in time.
That's pretty neat.
So by them,
It's coming there.
the necessity for them to do that project has helped us along the way
Yes.
towards
Yes.
further
It's
trail
been,
connection.
I'd say, mutually beneficial.
It has been. So we didn't charge them for the easement. Obviously, we benefit from the sewer being through there as well. So they run a force main from the new station to the one right behind the shop.
And from the clearing, and essentially it's ready to.
It
Absolutely.
also allowed them to get any sewers they had in the old park area out of there as well.
Right. So there was a fair amount of sewers that served all of these properties. With this connection, we can then take out, abandon all that stuff, and it'll help us facilitate building the park, of course. So we don't want big ugly sewers running through the park. So other projects.
Grand
Town's
Junction
back
Plaza?
on, finish when?
What's that?
Will town finish next year then?
No, this year.
Town will
You can
finish
still
this
get
year.
it this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Grand Junction Plaza, I think we spoke, I don't know if we talked at the last Board of Public Works meeting, but we selected Wilhelm as our construction manager for that project. They've currently divided that project into 33 bid packages that are out for bid currently to subcontractors. Those bids will be received and opened on October 4th. From there, we'll work with them to get a guaranteed max price, or a GMP for short, and we'll be doing a groundbreaking on October 31st for that park.
And they are tentatively scheduled to mobilize and begin construction on November 1st. So that project is rolling.
There goes your parking.
They're gonna, they'll put some equipment out
There you
there
go.
October 31st just for the groundbreaking.
Yeah. So the parking lot will likely go away in that first week of November. But as you know, we have accommodated a couple hundred spots back here. There's also been an effort to light up these parking lots, so we have,
It's not an effort, it's a project.
it's almost done. So we'll have lighting down there, which hopefully will make it a little more inviting for folks. Distance-wise, it's arguably close to the same. By the time
Arguably.
by the time this fills up and everybody parks all the way down to here, as you can see, this dead area is because of cars parking there and sometimes getting stuck. So when you measure it, it's a few hundred feet or a couple hundred yards, a little longer, but
Depending if you're going to Greeks or you're going to Conan, Crumble, or whatever.
so
When it gets rainy, you get to park on concrete as opposed to.
right, exactly.
Are you working on the 196th Street improvements? Have you started
We
eyeballing that?
we have.
We have RFP out to, I believe, 5 consultants,
Very good.
and those are due
Michael
Friday.
working on that?
He is.
All right, Michael. Does that include a portion of the grass branch too?
Yes.
Because that last 200 yards up there towards 38's
It's pretty bad.
raunchy.
Yeah, so we are in land acquisition also for East. We're in the land acquisition phase for the East Street project.
Who's doing that?
American Structure Point.
They're doing the land act?
Yes.
That's on schedule?
Yes.
I think it better be.
We have offers out, I believe. I at least know that I signed the just compensation letters for the parcels that we have to acquire. So we're planning on this going to bid and construction next year, and which is a big project. So
And that's all the way to 38.
yeah,
And
you
then
can kind of see a little bit
shutting
of
off
rod.
Grassy Branch at
Yeah,
38.
so it'll come and tie into Anthony. Anthony will realign a little bit on the north side, and the Grassy Branch will then terminate here. So it'll bend.
Oh,
That's
so
why
there-
they won't
Yeah.
touch that little piece right there.
Correct. So this portion of right-of-way will then be vacated or abandoned or
So he
whatever.
refuses to even patch it.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll be signaled on 38 at East Street and Anthony.
Correct.
Correct.
That's a dangerous cross right there. Yes, the road.
It's
That's deadly.
Yep.
151 and Oak, ready to go?
151 and Oak. Oh, the clearing. So we had an HSIP project that allowed us to purchase right-of-way. This is Michael's project. He can probably update
Yeah,
it better
Michael,
than
how
I.
you coming?
Yep, we met out with him a couple weeks ago because he had a problem with we acquired all of his frontage, and our original plan was to take out about half to 3/4 of those trees. But with the way his topography is on there, there really is a difficulty with him relocating his fence to there, because it is almost a sheer drop off when you get about halfway. So we met with him and we've agreed that basically the real problem is only about 1/3 of the way down. So he's going to put up a temporary fence about 1/3 of the way behind there, and that'll allow us to be able to take out about the 1/3 of those trees, which is really to the crest of the hill, which is the main site distance issue there.
So is there any reconstruction here, or is it just that?
Not as part
Not
of
at
this
this
project,
point.
yeah, but we will eventually shave that hill down, which is, then the remainder of the trees will have to be cleared at that point in time. We want to get it opened up and see what impact that is, because it's a pretty invasive and expensive project, but, so.
But all this project does is remove those trees.
Correct. Yeah.
And Wheeler and 32 on the north side, does that get added lanes with the
Yeah,
bridge?
It's a dual.
Is that part of that
It's not
project?
part of the bridge.
No.
It's a separate project. It's really part of the Wheeler Landing development, but it's a dual left turn.
And when will that be?
We have preliminary plans from A&F on that currently. They're working with the developer on Wheeler Landing to make sure everything ties together for Tournament Trail. Because Tournament Trail is going to come across and kind of come up that hill. They're going to make sure drainage is working between. So they're working with the developer's engineer to finalize those plans right now. We're not going to get it constructed this year or anything like that. They're still coordinating with NDOT as well. on the
All right,
signal.
if it's not going to happen this year, can you talk with NDOT about getting a solid green arrow southbound to eastbound
Instead of the
that?
flashing yellow.
Yeah.
Okay.
When we're heavy southbound traffic, that's just not adequate.
So I guess along the same lines, we are poising to come out of winter and build that in spring.
Yeah.
It is part of a development agreement with the overall Wheeler
Is it?
development. Yes, so
Okay.
that we have committed to designing it and facilitating the construction. They are actually paying for it and getting reimbursed.
So that's part of their
It is. part of their
development
master
agreement with Greyhound
Grand Park Boulevard.
Grand Park Boulevard.
Correct.
Yes. And I want to, after this meeting, that's the second thing I want to talk to you about, please.
Sure.
The Monon Tunnel.
The Monon Tunnel. So we have a fee proposal back from United. We are still in negotiations on that. Assuming they agree with our terms, that design will kick off. Otherwise, we will be opening that up to other firms to give us a proposal. Once it gets rolling, I think it'll move pretty quickly. We still have to figure out a funding source for the actual construction. So,
Todd said do it, but he didn't give you any money.
no,
I'll be darned.
he does that a lot.
Okay.
I don't know how you're gonna pay for it.
But we do have a plan, as we talked before, with the roundabout at 161st and Spring Mill, packaging those two up in a bond that will hopefully pay for both.
161 and okay.
Yeah,
Okay, I got you. All right. You're thinking.
we are always thinking. So I think we've covered about everything that I had, unless there's additional questions.
Ditch Road signal, the string poles aren't up currently, they'll be up in the next day or two. And then the heads will be on, it'll be about 2 weeks of testing before we get it energized, but within the next 2 weeks, there'll be a functioning signal at ditch 32.
Which will be huge, and then we can remove all the
Good job.
barrels and stripe and do all that stuff. So all the pavement work and reconstruction work is done.
How'd your mule meeting go?
Good. Yeah, it went well.
Was NDOT cooperative?
They are very cooperative right now, actually.
You're kidding.
So it's refreshing to have a group of folks from NDOT that are willing to communicate, and
Were these locals?
they're Greenfield folks. Yeah.
That's good to hear.
Along the same lines, and it will likely come to you in the next week or two, we are entering into a partnership with NDOT to utilize their old salt barn out
Yeah.
here. So
Are they not using it?
they are not. So they
So
built
they've got that big thing.
they built this big massive
Did
production
you ask for their
barn.
building permit?
No,
Okay.
no, I did not. I was angling to try to get something for us. So we will. That'll give us a secondary facility. We spend a great deal of time coming from the west side
Oh.
to the east to get salt.
That'll be huge for you.
So we will. This
Is that
winter.
adequate size-wise?
Yeah, yeah. We don't need a ton of storage capacity out here. We have our big barn here. We can have deliveries straight there, and our delivery time is in a couple days guaranteed. So we can stock up, prepare for an event, and it really will be just that.
I can hardly wait.
Stuff. I hope you wait a long time. So, but yeah, that in my mind is because we've talked about this with past Greenfield commissioners,
Yeah,
and there was never any desire to work together. That I believe has changed with the new leadership that they have. So I think we're
excellent.
developing.
Parker,
Yes.
is that his name?
Clark
Clark?
Packer.
Packer, close, all right.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
right.
Anything else?
Nope.
No? You? No?
Move to adjourn?
I will second that. Motion made and seconded to adjourn the meeting. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Don't turn the map off. 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 Don't turn the map off.